Hey everyone, my name is Sky Cheyenne and welcome back again to Rebuild Reality. So today we are gonna talk about something that is incredibly powerful. But first of all, let me ask you guys something. How long has it been that you have been on this manifestation journey? How long has it been that you've been trying to figure it all out? Like, how long has it been that you've been trying to crack the reality creation code thing? Well, if you're anything like I was, probably a long time. Where you're giving it all, you're giving it your all, you're doing all the steps, you're doing what everyone says works, you're doing what people have been successful at, you're doing a billion affirmations and scripting for months, and yet nothing. And then maybe like I did too, you beat yourself up about it, Maybe you're just like, what is going on? Like, what seriously is going on here? Am I just not good enough? Am I just stupid or something? Like, what the F, right? And it's frustrating as hell. And then, you end up falling down the well again, maybe having this like total meltdown, and just going through all this shit. And, eventually you wipe away the tears and you stand yourself back up again and you go back at it. Start watching a bunch of more videos. You decide, well, it's not that, maybe it's this. You just start all over again from scratch. This time I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure it out. And it's like this cycle we get stuck in where, it's like we can't not do it because deep down we know that this freaking thing is true. We know that it's real. And you're right. It is. But not like that. Because it's never been about any of the processes or techniques or any of those things. Those have just been there just to get you to finally relax and open the door long enough to let the stuff in that you want. Actually, it's really been about you making a decision of what you want and holding to it. Making that firm choice, like I say before, I've said before, you put your foot down because, hey, after all, I am God, like, right? I mean, isn't that what this whole thing is about? So, really, it's accepting that, who you really are. That's why it's not about demanding it. It's about finally accepting the crown that's been waiting for you to pick it up and put it on all this time, and to command, not demand, from that perspective. And commanding is making the powerful choice within yourself that, yes, I really do get whatever it is that I want, because that's always been the deal here. And to take it has always been a choice. And that kind of powerful choosing stands alone, because with it, you don't even need to do anything else. You don't have to force yourself to do anything else. No endless processes and techniques. You just do those if they happen to make you feel good. And deciding, choosing, that solid decision is that I am moment where you're not negotiating with reality anymore. You're not asking. You're not hoping. You're not performing a technique like it's some kind of spiritual ritual to make it work. You just decide. And when you really decide on something, that is when it becomes law in your reality. And that's the biggest power move of all. Because once you hit that level of solidity, all the wobble, all the second guessing, all the waiting and wondering disappears. That I get what I want, I am who I choose to be. And that's like slamming the gavel down in the courtroom, right? Case closed, baby. That's it. And when you're in that kind of headspace, you don't actually have to, like I said, even do anything else. The decision itself is the creation. That is the command, that kind of confidence that reality responds to. But the thing that screws people up, and I've done it before myself, is that you decide But then you don't trust that decision. You don't stick with it. You decide, and then you go right back to checking the 3D. Oh, is it true? Well, I don't know. You're the one that needs to say it's true. What are you asking me for? That's what 3D says, It's like, I can't tell you, but what you say is true. So what are you looking at me for? Right? Because it doesn't happen there first. It happens here first. Otherwise, it's not a decision. It's a negotiation. Because when you make a real decision, it feels final. It feels like you've cut off all other options. Like there's no going back. It's that internal, I don't care what 3D says anymore because it's following me anyway. That's mine. That's who I am. Period. And that energy, that's creation in its purest form. And the beautiful thing is that when you start to stand in that, really stand in that, then reality bends fast. It's like reality really respects a sovereign creator who knows who they are. But if you start acting like a beggar again, then reality has no choice but to treat you like one. So getting to the place of sovereignty is huge, because this is the most important shift you're ever going to make once you decide who you are now. After that, it's just about staying there, right? No wavering, no explaining yourself to reality anymore, not apologizing for your power, just being God, being who you want to be, quietly, confidently, solidly, and allowing yourself to be served, allowing 3D to do all the work. And it's part of taking root in your wholeness again, your sense of being at the center of all of creation where you belong, not a beggar hoping for crumbs on the outside. And honestly, that's this whole game. That's what all the teachings, all the techniques, all the spiritual fluff is really trying to get people to do, to just decide and finally freaking trust themselves and to trust the process. And that's when you finally realize that no one's ever been in your way. There's never been any cage that you've been in, except for the cage of your own fear. So you. Finally taking sovereign ownership of you. That's the doorway. If you cut away everything else, that's the one real doorway that you need to walk through. After that, your only job is to stay there and let your senses eventually adjust to your new mental location, your new way of seeing yourself, your new, this is who I am. And it will, because it has to. Getting what you want only really takes that inner decision that there's not going to be any going back anymore. There's not going to be any more backpedaling. There's not going to be any more negotiating with reality, with 3D. No begging, no pleading, no discussing on what you say, who you say you are now. And that's a game changer. That's the hammer of the God coming down, baby, right? The moment you fully accept that, yes, you are who you say you are. When you claim your new identity and you don't back down, that's when everything really starts to finally shift. First internally, and then eventually externally, even if you're not aware of it at first. And that's where the magic happens. And it's your magic, because your magic starts when you're not waiting for things to change in 3D. Why? Because you're not a follower. You're a leader. And when you accept that role, then 3D has no choice but to respect it. It has to honor it, because you're God. So that's your right to do so. Otherwise, you're like, is it happening? And 3D's like, well, I don't know. Is it happening? All I got's the same old thing, right? I'm just following you. So, and that's exactly why you're not going to ask for permission from your 3D reality anymore, out there anymore. You don't wait for it to say, okay, as if it's your parent that has all the keys. You're not a little kid anymore who needs some kind of overseer who gets to dictate what you can and can't have anymore. No, you are God, baby, And you are all grown up now into the fine piece of awesomeness that you are. So it's time to take off the training wheels now and finally take ownership of your playground. Your outside world doesn't get to herd you around anymore. No more allowing it to, because you're worried that you need it to. You need its approval somehow. You need it to agree with you. You know, you're worried that I need to get it to agree with me in order to have what I want. No, you don't. 3D has never had a choice. It's never had any free will of its own. It's just a mirror. It's not the monster hiding under the bed that people imagine it to be, right? That idea has been nothing but an illusion all this time, like a cardboard cutout. When you finally have enough, gumption to get close enough to actually touch the thing, it just falls over and collapses because it was never alive or real to begin with. But you are. And that's why you are literally the only real thing here. So the core of all this is just that solid decision. You are who you say you are. And that's it. Your hammer comes down. The decision is made. No going back. No second guessing. The decision is made. I get what I want. And that's it. I'm God. And that means I win, baby. And that kind of attitude, that is what sends that clear signal that brings you everything that you want. So claim your sovereignty, own your space, own a fantastic opinion of yourself, because things can't really move until you finally shift over into that acceptance that you actually do have the ability to choose who it is that you want to be. You do have the ability to choose because of who you really are. And the idea that anything has ever been in your way, has ever been able to stop you, has always been the lie. All you have to do is not budge. Just stay grounded in that knowing. Stay in that solid place of you're freaking right, I am God. And this is mine. And then watch reality start to match your confidence and your clarity. Because reality has to match you. Reality has to match you. It has absolutely no choice because it has no free will of its own. I promise you that. So, take a deep breath and relax now, because this is real. So, I hope you guys found some good information, and inspiration in that, and the truth of who you are. And let me know if you guys have any questions or comments. Leave them below about that. And I hope that, you decide to go ahead and make that leap instead of being the one who's on the side of, just groveling and, begging and pleading. Like, no, that's why it doesn't work. You need to stand in your power. This is who I am. Hello? It's like, ooh, yeah. No more asking reality. You don't need its permission. It's gonna follow you. So you don't look to it to show you what's going on, if it's true or not. It's true because you say it's true. 3D reality just follows you. So anyway, thank you guys for being with me here once again on Rebuild Reality. It's always good to come on and spend some time with you guys. And yeah, I like it. I hope you guys like it too. Anyway, thanks for being with me here once again. And I look forward to seeing you guys here next time on Rebuild Reality.